It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and this is the time where people are talking about how we should all pay attention to mental health. But really, a lot of people don't even know what they're talking about, they're just parroting. Through my own experience, I've come to realize that a lot of people like to talk about it, but they really do not want to see mental health struggles. And you wonder why people don't share that they're going through hard times. You just realize after they've taken really drastic measures that are considered unacceptable in the society, like unaliving yourself. And people are like, oh my God, but that person was so bubbly, so full of life. But the real reason why people don't share that they're struggling is because they know that no one is there for them, because they know that the people that say that, oh, I'm going to be there for you, are really just saying the words, but you can see beyond their words and you can see even in their eyes, they're lying. They don't even believe their own words.
I haven't seen you in such a long time. Like, how have you been? I'm gonna try to be honest today. I've actually not been doing well.
Stares in what the hell?
Just kidding. I've been doing fantastic. Everything has been fine. I mean, the day is even fantastic. Everything is good. You almost scared me for a second. They say they want to know the truth, but they don't know what to do with that.
I mean, take for example, if you're crying in public, people are going to be looking at you like, what is wrong with this person? It is very rare for someone to approach you and ask you what is happening. If you have a mental breakdown, like in an airport, people are going to run away from you thinking that you are mad. They're going to take their phones and start filming you, and they're like, oh my God, this person has lost it. They're not going to try and understand you because they don't care. If you go to your job and you're looking tired or you even cry, you're going to be told that you're bringing down the team spirit. They will tell you to take a few sick days off, but after that you need to go back to work, or they're going to fire you because they don't have time for your mental health struggles, you know? When we see mothers who are experiencing postpartum depression and they are with their children and their children start having tantrums, and then the mother doesn't know what to do, or they sit down and they start crying because they don't know what to do in that instance, or mothers who don't even want to be around their children because PPD does that to people, to a lot of mothers, instead of people actually wanting to know what is going on, they're going to be like, oh my God, you're a bad mother. If you are a young graduate and you don't even have the energy to be looking for a job, you're going to be told you have to stack it up, look for a job so that you can pay back your parents' sacrifices and the investments they made in you. They don't care about your mental health struggles. And this is exactly what I mean by people like talking about mental health struggle, but they really don't want to see it. The reality for a lot of people who are really struggling mentally is that there is no space for them in our society. There is no grace that is given to them. And I know this from my own experiences. And most of the time it's because these are invisible scars, invisible wounds that you're fighting. You're bleeding, but no one can actually see that you're bleeding. It's very different from what people know as being hurt, which most of the time is physical. Because if you're cut, you can see the blood and someone is like, oh my God, you know, we need to do something about the blood. If you break your leg and you can't walk, people will actually give you grace because they're like, oh my God, this person cannot walk, they're on the crutches. They will even move aside for you. But if you're mentally struggling, it's not seen, and most of the time you're actually told to prove that you're actually suffering from it. It is very common to hear people being told, you are overreacting, just suck it up, it's not that serious, just go out and be in the sun, it's gonna go away. As if wounds are something that you just have to do something like this and they just go away. Mental health wounds are also valid, just like physical wounds.
Considered there for such a long time. What's up? I'm not feeling well today. Right. What is it this time round? A little bit of discomfort in my chest area, a little bit of pain. Maybe some cold got into me during the night, I guess. Are you sure you're not overthinking it? I mean, you were just fine the other time and then suddenly you're feeling chest pains? Really? I'm pretty sure I know my body and I would know whether something is wrong, but maybe I'm overthinking it. As always.
Because we have no space for this in our society, that's why we are telling the people who are already struggling to prove that this is something that they are already struggling with. And in African society, you'll be told, oh, those are white people problems. And yet a lot of African parents are the ones who actually have a lot of mental illnesses, and because they're not sitting down to work on that, they're passing it on to their children, and when their children are deciding that they want to actually work on them, they want to heal, they're being told, you are overreacting, stop being a mzungu. There's also the fact that our society really teaches us to put on a facade, to pretend that everything is fine because everyone is doing it, you're expected to do it. So when you start telling people or showing how your mental struggles are actually affecting you, it makes other people uncomfortable, and people don't want to be uncomfortable. Because you confronting your reality forces other people to actually confront their own realities, but they do not want that. They want to be living in this fantasy of hustling, of go, 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 of productivity. And what they'll actually do instead of validating your experience is they will point a finger at you and be like, you're the problem. Why are you being unproductive? You need to get a job. Or they just brush it off and say, everybody goes through this, you're not the first one, so just suck it up. That is actually something that we hear a lot, and it's really damaging, and that's why a lot of people don't share that they're going through hard times. And we want to be like, oh my god, but that person was so bubbly and so alive, how could they do this? Because we really live in societies that promote hyper individualism, and because we've isolated ourselves and we're not even trusting each other, and we are always looking out for ourselves, people just don't want to be there for you. Because honestly, to be there for someone who's going through mental health struggle, it means that you're not getting anything in return. Typically in the relationships that we have today, there's always a return on investment. That's why even when you're talking about dating, a lot of people are talking about, what do you bring to the table? That's why a lot of parents are telling their children, you need to pay me back for all the sacrifices that are made. Even though parents made the choice to have children, even the friendships that are being made, it's like there's an unspoken rule that we always have to have a good time. It's all about positive energy. That's what we're always hearing, positivity. I only want positive people.
I want to be a good friend, but I can't right now. But you still don't understand what I mean, so here we go. Try to look alive and happy. Nobody likes a Debbie Downer. Smile. Genuine smile. Nobody likes a negative Nancy. One last thing. Bingo. Now you look alive, even though you're dying inside.
God forbid if you actually don't reach out to your friends because you are struggling. They're going to be like, oh my god, this is a fake friend. This person doesn't even want to hang out with me anymore. Because society has really taught us that we need to be benefiting from every relationship, and that is really detrimental. Because it means that when you really need help, you're going to be on your own, because no one is going to benefit from being there for you. When a lot of people talk about mental health struggle, they really have this fantasy. They think it's something that just comes like nimbus clouds, then it rains and then it goes away. But it could be a cloud that is there for years. And we really need to be honest. A lot of people do not have other people that can be patient with them, that can be there for them for years as they really go through these mental health struggles. There are people who go through this for 10 years. And at first, people may be patient with them, but after some time, it's like, oh, that person is mad. That person has some loose screws. You know, the language that we use to describe people, that in itself is just to show that people don't want to see mental health struggle. They don't want to see it. They want to talk about it because honestly, that is what a lot of people are talking about today, and a lot of people want to be on top of trends. But really seeing it and being there for people who are really going through it, that's another story. There's also the fact that you're told that you can always ask for help, but there's actually no way in which you can be helped. Someone will tell you, go to therapy, but what if you don't have the money? Which a lot of people actually don't have the money, because a lot of people are actually struggling to meet their basic needs. And it's because they're really struggling to meet their basic needs that they're having a lot of mental health struggles in the first place. We have public places for almost everything except for our collective pain and grief and sorrow, which are part and parcel of life. Why are we not creating spaces where we can come together and share all these pains that we have together? We have churches where people can go worship God. We have bars where you can go have a drink. We have clubs where you can go have a good time and dance. Why not have specific places for people to actually go when they're going through pain, when they want to talk to someone about their grief? Because it is in coming together and sharing what we're going through that we actually get to see that it's not just us. Most of the time, a lot of people are really struggling because they think it's just them who are really going through this hard time. It's really important for us to create those communities where we're actually meeting and sharing our grief, our sorrow, our pain, the invisible wounds that we have, because we really need that validation to know that this is not just in our heads. Personally, what really helped me, because again, we don't have these collective spaces, I accidentally stumbled into K-dramas on Netflix, and those have really been a lifesaver because K-dramas tell the stories of humans and not heroes as we used to seeing in Hollywood. K-dramas really humanize people. They tell stories of everyday people, and even when it comes to mental health, the way they delicately and truthfully tell these stories in a way that just leaves you in tears, because you're like, I can see my own experience be depicted. So it's not just in my head, because that's the good thing of actually seeing other people's stories. You start realizing that it's not just you and you're not overreacting because other people are going through it. Some of my favorite K-dramas that actually touch on mental health in a really delicate and beautiful way.
It's Okay to Not Be Okay shows mental health struggles that are born from isolation and abandonment issues. Melo is My Nature, or Be Melodramatic on Netflix, shows the impact of grief on mental health. Our Blues extensively shows the impact of mental health issues on relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's relationship between parents, between children and their parents. It's a lot.
They have amazing soundtracks that also capture the essence of the story, that really carry on with that storytelling, and you can always listen to them when you feel like you need to listen to something that really understands how you're feeling. I think it's really important to turn to art, because art is healing. Art will make you feel, and when you start feeling is when you start healing. I don't even know whether I'm still visible because the sun is way below the clouds. My hope is that we get better as a society at really embracing people who are going through mental health struggle. But what I can tell anyone who's actually struggling is that you're not alone. It gets better, and it might be very painful before it gets better. But just hold on, keep holding on, and trust yourself. That's the most important thing. Trust yourself, even if it's so hard. Trust yourself.